Hello, everyone, and welcome to Lesbian Talk, episode 78, where we are going to discuss a video game.
Probably. Something like that.
Yes.
But how are you?
I'm totally not dead yet.
Well, that's good, I guess.
It could be. It might be a bad thing. Maybe I'm fated to destroy people.
Is this one of those kill baby future Hitler kind of scenarios?
Well, if you discovered a baby was definitely going to become future Hitler, then you would be morally obligated to kill them, yes. If you knew for 100%.
Yeah, but what if you could, take him and nurture him or her so they would become maybe baby future Gandhi? You don't know.
Well, everyone knows that's not how time travel works.
Yes, it is. Baby future Gandhi. Just saying.
So, what are we going to discuss, honey?
Well, guess what? Next week, Dragon Age Inquisition is coming out. I know, right? Although 3 days later here in the UK. But, so we wanted to just talk about our expectations and squee and blow up about that for a while. Like you do.
Yeah. I would just like to get this off my chest early. Out of all of the characters, to be a main companion in more than one full-on Dragon Age game, gotta bring Varric back.
Varric is awesome.
And someone's gonna point out, oh, but Anders was a main character in 2. So, no, he wasn't. He was a main character in 1 and a bit.
Yeah, because Awakening is technically an extension, or a expansion.
Yes,
but Varric is awesome! He and my Hawk were total bros, yo. Even though my Hawk was a woman. Just saying.
Yeah, every time you play Dragon Age 2, you just create the same character over and over again.
It fulfills me.
Well, I like playing a different character each time.
Yeah.
And do different things.
So I have decided on my canon Hawk, and that's, once I did play her as a rogue. Romancing Fenris, but that was a playthrough that I stopped because I had other things to do. So I don't always do it at the same time, I just mostly do it the same. Shut up, don't touch me.
So for anyone who's not familiar with Dragon Age, it's an RPG game, sort of like the spiritual successor to Baldur's Gate, and it's maybe the same ones who made Mass Effect.
Bioware.
Yeah, and it's far better than Mass Effect. I did not like Mass Effect at all.
A lot of people really did like Mass Effect. I've never played it, but I know a lot of people felt like huge waves of betrayal at the end of Mass Effect 3. like Spoonie shouting betrayal kind of betrayal. So
the sort of betrayal I screamed whenever I played Dragon Age 2.
Why? It was good.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Didn't like the art style.
Loved the art style.
Didn't like the way that the action was incredibly fast and unrealistic. I preferred the slower plodding version of Origins. It felt more real.
I guess. I didn't like them, no one really liked them reusing dungeons.
Someone came up with an explanation for that could work in universe.
I know, and I think you've said it at least 3 separate times on Lesbian Talk. Why don't you say it one more time?
Okay, I will. The whole of Dragon Age 2 is Varric telling a story, so he is just saying, oh, Hawk and all entered this dungeon, and so you're seeing that Cassandra Pentecost, whatever.
Pentecost.
That she has only a limited imagination when it comes to different dungeons, so they all look the same, because we are seeing her visualizing the story.
Yes, as commenters on your WordPress are very quick to point out, oh, Omega, you can't just, say that this would totally make sense if things and stuff, you can't do that because what happens, happens. Yeah, so, I have to say it to you, oh, honey, you can't be like, oh, but if there's an in-game reason for why no.
Well, if you can think of an in-game reason for one of the most negative parts of the game to actually make logical sense, even though you don't like it, I don't think there's any problem with that.
Well, I do, only because everyone's always yelling at me for doing the same thing. So there you go.
Oh, I'm in trouble.
Yes, that's how you're in total trouble. You're totally going to be sent to bed without supper, even though I know you ordered pizza, so.
I had pizza already.
I had pizza too. I had Donner pizza.
Donner meat. Fresh from the old Wild West.
See, if you're not a history buff, though, you won't get that, so.
Yeah.
Google the Donner Party, everyone, and see why that's funny. Actually, it's not. It's kind of like cheesesteak style meat sliced up.
Whenever Americans come over here, I love taking them to a kebab place and offering them some Donner meat, because they don't actually say what Donner is. It's actually the way that the meat, it's lamb usually, and it's the way it's sort of constructed. It's because it's, You like shred the meat off the bone and then you stick together into this big slab of meat from various animals, and then you cut slices off, a bit like a lamb bacon, or a bit like a meatloaf or something. But people, poor Americans who are into history, who just, come across this name for the first time, usually go white. And I'm like, ha ha!
Donner meat, just like they ate in Orzammar.
I thought they ate nug meat.
Some people eat nugs, some people don't.
I was extracting some footage and rendering it, so I was playing a game again, and, while waiting for things to happen. And I had this wonderful bit where I was in Orzammar, and I was in the Jarvia, the Carta hideout, and I got my warden, who has the ranger powers, to bring a bear into existence to attack people. And I just had this idea that these poor, casteless dwarves who have never left Orzammar, because if they had, they wouldn't be allowed back in again. And they're getting attacked by a bear, and they're like, holy fuck, what happened to that Bronto and put it in a fur coat? No!
Bears of the deep roads.
Just imagine them just being terrified by it, because they wouldn't see anything like that.
Well, I have to tell you that I can't wait until we see Inquisition, because the character creator is going to be so detailed. I think I might spend literally an hour just making up the character. You can do a shit ton of stuff.
While we're talking, I'm looking at a video on Silent of someone creating a character in it, and it looks really detailed. Although they're playing it on the PS4 or the Xbox One, while we're both going to play it on the 360.
Yeah, so I imagine that the graphics will be comparable to Dragon Age 1 and Dragon Age 2, so, I don't see why they wouldn't be.
Yeah. It's really, really detailed, and I've decided my first Inquisitor is going to be Kissoth Mage.
Sarabas! Actually, it won't technically be a Sarabas.
Yep.
You just always play mages.
Mages are great. But then again, you've shown me playing, and you were all like, holy crap, this is like watching in stop motion, because what I would do is give everyone...
it's so annoying to watch her fight a battle. Oh my gosh, you guys. For real talk.
I give my character an order, then I pause the game, flip to the next character, give them an order, then the other, then the next, and the next, and then I do that about 100 times in a battle, just so I can control everyone, micromanage.
Then you're gonna like the tactical cam, because you can do that. You can queue up everyone's orders, and then you can move time forward. This is a real thing that's gonna happen. Yeah,
this is my style of play there. That was directly got from my playing long hours in Baldur's Gate and Icewind Dale.
Yeah, I trust my party members. I let them go, let them do their thing. As long as everybody remembers to take a potion now and again. Although that's going to be a thing that there's no healing spells this time around. And you only have, at the beginning, room for 8 potions. And now they will automatically regenerate every time you go to your base. But it's supposed to keep battles feeling real, not just like, I'm just going to pound potions and healing spells. So, I don't know, I'm of two minds of it. I could see it being really hard for some fights. But then, for normal day-to-day combat, I don't see that being a big problem.
Like, they're trying to make it more realistic. Unfortunately, it makes it less realistic, because we're supposed to believe that healing magic suddenly went out of vogue. People don't know it. People can't learn it.
You just have people with you that aren't healers,
Yeah, but even ones who aren't healers had the ability to learn healing spells.
Well, it could be something that's been affected by the Fade.
It's possible.
There's a big, huge hole in the Fade that's like, barfing demons into the world.
It's possible. It just strikes me as a little bit less realistic. That suddenly, for gameplay purposes, this is no longer happening. It's like, at what point did people forget how to heal people? But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I got the feeling the fighting style is going to be more like what I want.
I will quote you something that a DM of mine once said many years ago. Who gives a shit about the tensile strength of rope?
I do.
Yeah, you probably do, actually. But his point was that, you end up sometimes in your RPG experience consulting these huge charts of, how much does each piece of my armor weigh, and what's the tensile strength of rope, and you realize this was supposed to be happy fun times escapism. And we're bitching about the tensile strength of rope. Sometimes you just have to accept, you know what, that's a big fucking dragon over there. This is not going to be very realistic. And I'm cool with that. Like how people are always like, yes, but see, in this JRPG, that somebody should be wielding a sword that big because actually the loss of physics. I'm like, that's fine. This is escapism. That's why, people are like, oh, you have to play Silent Hill because it's so realistic. It's what you would actually do if you were in a horror movie. No, if I wasn't actually in a horror movie, I would die. When I play a video game, I'll be quite honest. I am paying for this experience, and I expect to be entertained. So, you know what? I want ninja powers, or I want magical abilities, or I want a big fucking sword, or I want a laser gun. I want death blows, or I want a mech. And that's how it's going to be. Amen. You can download copies of my lecture at... No, I was kidding.
Well, I like the combat to be a little bit more realistic. Like, I got even just with Dragon Age Origins, I got severely bothered whenever
Of course you did.
When there's someone, if someone who's wearing like leather armor gets hit in the face a bunch of times with a two-handed sword, they should be dead long before that. But they're not. I would love to see an RPG that operates more like Bushido Blade, where, like, if you shoot someone in the arm and it goes through the armor, that arm is now useless. You get them in the chest, they have like a 40% chance of being instantly killed, 60% chance of dying slowly.
I think that happens in Dark Souls. You should play that. It's really hard.
I'm not actually so much into, like,
I want it to be a realistic, but not hard.
No, I don't. It's not hardness I'm going for. It's just enough realism to make it, enough hardness to make it realistic. I don't want to go
realism to annoy my wife.
Oh, just enough realism to make it realistic. But
enough. You said that out loud. Enough realism to make it realistic. If
well,
that wasn't too long, that would totally be the title of this episode.
Realistic in a video game sense.
But that's totally subjective. What feels realistic to you might be so different from what feels realistic to somebody else.
This is true.
It's not empirical realism.
If I was going to design a video game, that's the sort of thing I'd do, but I'm not designing video games, so all I can say is what I would prefer.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, this is going to be amazing. Like, pretty much everyone that's reviewed it so far has said one of the best of the year. I think it's got something like a total average review of about 87 out of 100 across several different people and stuff like that, and I'm so excited.
From what I've read, it's Inquisition's maps put together. They're not quite as big as Skyrim, but the place feels bigger than Skyrim.
That's what people have been saying. And Skyrim is huge. It's massive.
Well, the difference is apparently Skyrim is all one giant map, while Dragon Age Inquisition is a bunch of maps which are smaller. However, you put those together, it's not as much as Skyrim, but because it feels bigger because there's more of them.
Yeah, and I mean, even, like, Ferelden felt kind of small in Origins, because let's face it, you would be like, oh, well, let me just pop over to this part of the map, not thinking the fact that it probably took your party days and days to get there.
Yeah, apparently it takes 2 weeks to get through the Circle Tower from Orzammar.
Yeah, so I did a lot of pointless pissing around. No wonder Sten was annoyed with me. Apparently
that takes 2 weeks, but it only takes 24 hours to march from Redcliffe to Denerim.
Shh.
One of those distances is longer on the map, and it's not the one between Orzammar and Circle Tower.
Shh, hush. Well, maybe because with Orzammar you have to skirt the mountains for some reason.
Well, you got to climb down the mountain as well,
yeah.
And plus you got to go round the lake. But still, 2 weeks compared to 1 day.
Shh, hush.
And Dragon Age Origins, I would have loved if they'd given us some more cities we could go into. You wouldn't even need to have, like, story reasons to go in there, just to make it more of a living, breathing place. Because there was Amaranthine, there was Guaran, there's other cities and towns which...
Guaran's not really a city. It's kind of a large town. It's not as big as Denerim.
Oh, I know it's not as big as... Or Highever. There's all these other places which...
Well, Highever, it makes sense that you can't go because Highever got sacked at the beginning of Origins.
I thought they just attacked and conquered the castle. Did they destroy the city around it?
No, but it's been sacked by Rendon Howe. He's Logain's best butt buddy. Do you really want to go over there? I think it makes sense.
Well, if you're keeping yourself a low profile, you're no more dangerous than going to Denerim where Logain and Howe are.
Yeah, I guess.
It's just, you don't even... I really think that RPGs should give you more places you can go than are actually needed for the main quest.
What you have to understand is the fact that it's really rare in a game where they have the time and inclination to code things that aren't important. Like, even small side quests, have to be written and stuff has to happen. And I think one of the things that's so amazing about Inquisition that a lot of people have been saying is that there is so much random stuff, like random NPCs just walking by that you really can't, interact with, but they're saying, oh gosh, it looks like it's going to rain today. They spent years working on Origins. And it was the size that it was. I mean, it would be nice to have a whole interactive world that you can, like World of Warcraft, you could just spend days and days and days exploring. But in real life, I don't know. All that takes effort.
I can understand the reason why they didn't do it. It's just my wish for more realistic feel, even though reality is often unrealistic.
More realism, there's not enough.
Yeah.
How much will it be enough for you?
Because in Dragon Age 2, you got people, regular-sized people, swinging around swords as tall as themselves, while leaping around the map and everything.
Yeah, and I felt like a big damn fucking hero every time I did.
Yeah, but it was
I don't
silly.
care what you think. I felt like a hero. Kirkwall, City of Chains.
Feel like Dragon Age 2 subtitle is silly.
No, it was awesome.
Dragon Age silly.
I was awesome. You were fantastic, Rose, and so was I.
No.
You're just jealous. Although I did Dragon Age 2, I really enjoyed it, and it really helped me get back into appreciating fantasy, because I'd been so out of it for so long, and I really enjoyed it. I think that I enjoyed it on par, if not a little bit more than Origins. I know that that's not very popular to say, but what are you going to do?
You're going to listen to people commenting?
Yeah, probably. I mean, I probably shouldn't be admitting this on the internet, but I even, last Saturday, got a new tattoo. And what was that tattoo? Why, it was the Kirkwall seal. Kirkwall, City of Chains. I have it. It's on my upper left arm. Shut up. That looks so fucking badass, you guys. You have no idea. I was gonna be like, hey, Aveline, I heard the city guard's hiring. Got some new ink, I'm just saying. Why are you saying ha 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 like that? You knew I was gonna do it. I told you that I was.
And I've seen it as well.
It's my money.
So it's not like I'm discovering it for the first time.
True. Although it was really great, because the guy, the tattoo artist, it was this old, grizzled Irish guy. And he goes, and I had left a scan of it with them, so they printed it out to the right size. And he goes, so it looks really nice. Where's it from? And I said, it's from a video game, sir. It's like, yeah, video games are popular now, aren't they? And I was like, yes, sir. Well, it took about an hour to do. It's pretty big too, and it's all colored in. And I'll take a picture later, because right now it's in the awkward peeling phase, so it's not looking as attractive as usual. But I fucking love it. I don't care. Pretty cheap too. It's probably a little bit less than I would have spent if I'd gotten it done in America. So, Kirkwall, City of Chains. What ha?
Eldari, City of Tattoos, of City of Chains.
Pretty much. Well, your first tattoo is going to be a Doctor Who tattoo, so you have no room to ha at me.
Yeah, I will get a Doctor Who tattoo at some point, but we've promised that's going to happen whenever we go to New Orleans again.
Yeah. You want to get the Seal of Rassilon.
Yes.
And I'll get the... See, I don't want the new Time Lord symbol. I want something like one of the really nice Gallifreyan words that looks really schwank. It's going to be like, for nerds, that's the new get a Chinese character tattoo. It's like, so, check out my thing. It says best Time Lord ever in Gallifreyan. Oh, really? That's what you think? Wait, what do you mean? Actually, it means big horrible whore. Ah! Oh no. Any real Gallifreyan would have been able to... Alright, I'm done.
Well, it depends what type of Gallifreyan, because there are several Gallifreyan languages.
Well, there's obviously a spoken one and a written one, at least.
Yeah, there's the one which the TARDISes use, can translate, so people all sound like they're speaking English. On top of that, there is the Circle Gallifreyan writing from New Who. There was the Gallifreyan present-day writing used in Old Who, and there was Old High Gallifreyan, which was used in Ancient Gallifrey. But the Doctor could read that. That was in the Five Doctors.
I could totally see, someone at a geek convention. Yeah, it's totally High Gallifreyan. Yeah, it means my TARDIS rules. Actually, it means sweet and sour chicken with rice. What? No! You always hear those stories of the trendy people that get the Chinese characters, and then someone who actually can read Chinese is like, nah, that's from a takeout menu. That doesn't say Braveheart at all.
I've heard those stories.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, someone needs to do this, because I really don't have the time to film it. That would be a good YouTube sketch. Like a guy showing off at a party to this girl, like they're total both Whovian nerds, and he's like, yeah, it totally means this. And she's like, actually. And then you flash back to the tattoo artist, and the guy's leaving. He's like, it looks really great, man, thanks. And then the tattoo artist comes in close. It was me, the master. It was me the whole time. I gave him the bad tattoo. It says fried rice. So, I don't know how we got on Doctor Who again from Dragon Age, but so if you make this sketch, write the show. Just saying. So what else are you looking forward to in Dragon Age?
I really like the fact that they're instituting my idea of, hitting the limbs and damaging them, but they're doing that to, dragons and large monsters.
I think that's really cool. Because I know some games have, they'll be in boss fights, especially, where you have no choice but to concentrate on one part at a time, but it looks like just any creature over a certain size that applies to, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. maybe the next generation of RPGs will have that instituted for every character.
Yeah.
Because I do like the option to just shoot like a villain or something in the legs with some arrows so they can't walk or follow you.
Called shot.
And just leave them there bleeding to death rather than have to kill them straight off.
She said, heartlessly.
Well, I mean, if Saints Row 4 managed that with like the murder bots, where you, depending on where you shot them, they were either killed, injured, or whatever.
That's a good point.
So it can be done.
And apparently, because EA has early access, so if you subscribe to EA Early Access, you got 6 hours of trial play before everything went live. And I don't think it was anything spoilery. I think it was just, fucking around. But apparently, you could just go into taverns and sit there and listen to bards sing all day, and they'll sing different songs. That's just one of those like really cool attention to detail kind of things. Like, wow.
That's a bit like the sea shanties in Black Flag.
Yeah, except you don't have to go like skittering over rooftops trying to capture them like they're really, really, really reluctant chipmunks. Because I tried that the first time. I was like, fuck this noise. I don't care if they sing Row Row Your Boat for the whole game. I'm not trying to catch down. I mean, I couldn't even trail someone, for Christ's sake.
My nephew was visiting yesterday, and he went off with my copy of Black Flag, but he was looking through all my achievements and things, and apparently my copy of Black Flag was 92% complete.
Well, there you go.
So I got quite a few things.
Well, the new one is out, the one in the French Revolution, because my sister-in-law, who plays the Avatar of Decent Humor, she got her copy on Friday, and she had a day off, so she spent the day saving France.
I think there's another game coming out too, which is set in America.
Yeah, it's on the Microsoft, not Microsoft, it's on the Xbox Live Store, because I was looking for something, and it's like, download Assassin's Creed Rogue, and I think that I'd heard that there was a separate one coming out for Xbox 360 and PS3. I knew nothing about it, though, so if you know, write the show. I actually don't really, because we'll probably just Google it right after, but you know what I mean.
That's why I want to play that one more than the French Revolution one, because my original thought for what they should have done after 3 was they should have done a French Revolution one with Connor, and I liked Connor as a main character, and this new one set in America, I'll just pretend it's Connor.
Okay. I want to have, this is so bad, I want to have one set in American history. Or no, it would be really good, World War I.
So you want an Assassin's Creed set in American history?
Like, recent American history.
Oh,
like,
recent, okay.
Yeah. I was thinking recent, but the word kind of escaped. Actually, because we were almost running out of time, but one game that I heard about, and I liked their Facebook page a while back, and it was just released yesterday, is called This War of Mine. And it's the idea of looking at war from a civilian's point of view. Like, for once, you're not the soldier striding in with the big AK-47 boner. You're the person who is living in the bombed-out hotel down the street with a whole bunch of refugees trying to think, okay, how are we going to find enough food to eat next week? And it looks really amazing. It's available for Steam. I'm not sure what other platforms other than that, but if you can, like them on Facebook and check it out, because the trailer is really haunting.
I had a random idea whenever I watched my niece playing Left 4 Dead last night. Imagine you crossed that sort of idea where you got a zombie game, your point is with a party, you shoot people. I wish you could cross that with the Mass Effect Dragon Age RPG type idea. So you have more than just 4 characters that you bring out. They can get killed in missions and stuff. You have a home base. You're trying to clear a city, basically, bit by bit. No. You can find different equipment, different like camouflage body armor, or whatever.
I hate zombies. I'm a hipster zombie hater. I've been over zombies for over a decade now. Just saying.
Even though they're the only famous monster that was born in Pennsylvania.
No, they came from the Caribbean. They came from Haiti.
There's a difference between the Voodoo.
Oh, the Romero zombies. I'm so over. I'm so done. I've been done with it for the last decade, you guys. Let's move on to a new supernatural. And if you're listening to us on Take What's Take, and if you're not a fan from way back, we do actually talk about this in an episode called Hipster Zombie Haters, so check it out.
Well, I still think that the Left 4 Dead crossed with Dragon Age Mass Effect would be a good idea. For an interesting game.
I'm just so it's like what's gonna be next? It's like it's a cooking show, but with zombies. No.
Pretty sure someone's already done that on YouTube.
It probably is. It probably is everything. It's like, here's a cupcake, but it's made of zombies. I'm so sick of. I was sick of zombies 10 years ago. And I'm not the only one. Again, I know I get in trouble every time I mention him, but big fan of Yahtzee Kershaw. And at one point, he actually several games that involve zombies. He's gone off and said, it's done, it's over. Stop it. But anyway, So anyway, it's time for the triumphant return of a part of the show that everybody really, really likes, and it's called One Time at the Store. Now, if you're just listening to us for the first time, if you haven't been a long-term fan, that's totally cool. I spent about over 10 years working at a large chain bookstore in America. Now, here's where that story would usually stop. But I actually just got a job at a large chain bookstore here in Northern Ireland, and I start on Tuesday. So, yeah, that means hopefully new One Time at the Store stories. But for now, I thought we'd revisit an old classic because I honestly can't remember if I told this story before. But I'm very sure that if I did, it was one of our earliest episodes, and it wasn't one of the ones for that guy with the glasses. So, if you're a new fan, it'll be a new treat for you. If you're an old fan, you can laugh at my misfortune all over again. So this was back in the day. This was back in the first year that I worked at the store, so like 2004, 2005. It was a Saturday afternoon, and I was closing, so I had just taken over the children's department. And there was a couple there that one of my coworkers really hated because the child made a mess. I never witnessed a child making a mess, but I saw them. They weren't a lot. So they'd been sitting by a little play area, and they got up to leave, and they left a pile of adult books. A lot of times customers will leave to take their children to the bathroom or go to a cafe to get a snack, and I'll take their books and put them away, or take them to the adult floor so they can be put away, and people will get upset. So I went over and I said, "Oh, excuse me, are you done with your books?" Something that I say to like 99% of customers every day, and no one ever has a problem with it. And the woman whirled around me at me loaded for bear. And she said, "Yeah, we're leaving. We're not taking them with them. And you're going to have to put them away. You know why? Because you work here." And I was shocked because I didn't expect that answer. I expected "Yeah, we're done with them," or "Actually, no, can you just don't put them away. We're coming back." And I was shocked. And I think that what had happened is that they had been yelled at another store earlier that day because she said, "I'm sick of all you fucking assholes." And yes, she said fucking assholes. Telling me that my son's making a mess or my family's doing something wrong. And I hadn't even mentioned her son, so I think that's why I was getting ire from somebody else. I was like, man, I was totally speechless. And so she goes over to the guy, and she goes, "Can you believe this?" And her husband, I'm assuming that's her husband, said, "Well, that's fine. We'll just get her fired. What's your name?" And if you're someone who wears a name tag and you're speechless, you probably would have done the same thing as I just lifted up my name tag because I was speechless. And then she looks at me, she goes, "I'm visually handicapped. How dare you mock me?" You know, without the dramatic part in her voice. But she wasn't wearing any glasses, and she didn't appear to be blind in any way that I knew. So I was just speechless. So they start storming out, and they go past this one display. The woman says, "You know what? That's it. We're going to get a manager. We're going to get you fired." So I came up behind them, and I said, "Well, ma'am," because I was still trying desperately to understand the situation. The woman turns around, tried to kick at me, missed me, hit the display, and books went everywhere. And I should quantify that standing next to the display was a woman and her small toddler who was like, "Oh!" And so I was shaking. I was so scared. So I just paged the manager, and I said, "I have a customer who just damaged the display. I need you to call the police." And I just went right back to the break room. And I broke down crying because I had never been attacked before. So the one manager who was in charge was like, all right, just go on break. It'll be fine. The other assistant manager came back and said, "Okay, so those people just complained about you." And he says to the head manager, "So they want her to do a public apology over the PA system, and then they would like her fired." And my manager was like, "Well, you can tell them we're very, very sorry that they didn't enjoy their experience today, but that's not happening." And of course, they vowed that they would never shop with us again. I saw them a month later. And apparently, because I heard a follow-up on this a week later, one of the other managers, the woman had called and said, "Oh, well, I'm going to sue your store." And my manager was like, "Oh, really? Do tell." "Yes, because my sister-in-law is a paralegal in New York, and your bookseller mocked me for having a disability, so I'm going to sue, and I'm going to own you." And she was like, "Well, you can get in touch with our legal department." And that's the story of that. Are people great?
Yeah.
But anyway, so honey, what did we watch this week?
We watched Death in Heaven, which is the finale of Season 8 Doctor Who, of New Who, and the name makes no sense whatsoever.
It was poetic, I guess, playing off how the Missy told everyone they were in the afterlife. I thought it was quite a clever title.
Like I suggested at the end of the last one, that the finale, I was really less kind towards the finale than I was towards the Dark Water.
I had some issues, but some of the stuff was really good, and I liked it a lot.
It's not bad enough to get a 20 review from me.
Well, that's saying something, I guess.
Yeah, well, it's what I can bitch about.
By the way, spoilers, but it's been a week, so if you haven't, it's your own fault.
Yeah.
I was sad to see Osgood go in such a instant and simple way. That made me kind of sad. I did like her. Although the circumstances in which she died left something to be desired, as in, I really thought that it would turn out that the two soldiers behind her, the Missy had hypnotized, because that's what the master is supposed to be good at. But they were just kind of standing there like, oh geez, it must be time to get evaporated. Oh, bye Joe. Bye Steve.
I would love to look at the script for that bit, because how do you justify it? Because that is so obviously terribly staged.
Joe and Steve stand idly by.
Yeah. It's completely ridiculous. And so many problems, so many problems.
And they could have solved that with 2 lines. Do you think that the soldiers will really let you make a move? Don't you understand? They're under my control now. That's all you need to do.
Though I got really offended while watching it, because they said there were 91 of these of these Cybermen to explode over major population centers. And they showed the map, and these are 91 for the British Isles, and there was 2 in Ireland. One for Dublin, one from Belfast. It's like, what? We're not important enough to get Cybermen? Well, fuck you too.
If you guys don't know, there's this eternal struggle between Derry and Belfast of who is better and who does the UK love more.
It's not about love or affection or anything.
The Queen loves us more. The Queen loves us more.
I think you get actually about more than half of Derry would be quite happy for Belfast to be loved with the Queen more.
I know. I'm just saying.
It's more like we're the second largest city in the country. Belfast is larger, but it's much younger. So we're like, why does Belfast get all the fucking attention, bastards?
See, I would love to see a follow-up to this episode where the actual Cybermen come and kick the Missy's ass for using them like that. Because these weren't Cybermen. She was just using the Cybermen's technology.
Yeah, it's...
And I really want to know how they're going to react about that.
I read in an interview...
We are the Cybermen, we are not your shield.
I read an interview with Moffat where he said that Dark Water Death in Heaven was his attempt at something of an apology to the Cybermen, because every time he wrote a script and they were involved, except for when Pandora opens, they were always there as a joke. Or they would, be destroyed for some reason, just be crap. And he said the Cybermen were his favorite classic series monster, and he wanted to do them justice. And it's like, Moffat, Jesus Christ.
Well, that's things don't ever end well for people who try to use the Daleks as their own personal army. There's that saying, Anonymous is not your personal army. The Cybermen are not your personal army, Missy.
Yeah, regardless, he tried to do a decent Cybermen story. And for the first half it was, but then it's just they have literally no agency of their own.
The tearful goodbye between Clara and Danny. And I have to say, was it The Angels Take Manhattan when we lost Amy and Rory?
Yeah.
Okay. I full on sobbed. I sobbed. The front of my t-shirt was wet because I was using it to dry my face. I was like, no. And I wasn't even all that attached to Amy and Rory, but it was just done that well. I could not think of anything else while the Clara-Danny scene was going on other than, man, it's cold. I think I should put the heater on before I go upstairs. Yeah, I'll put it on and then I'll come back downstairs. But I don't want it to be too... That's I couldn't focus on them. I was like, whatever. Yeah, and he's like, I hate you, Doctor. In the end, see, it was a soldier that... I'm like, shut up.
What I want to know is...
Shut up. I'm so over you.
They put Danny's mind back into his cyberized body. Why did he still have emotions? Because they were making people delete their emotions, but clearly that didn't have any effect. Not everyone was doing that. They weren't forced to do it or anything. They weren't even coerced to doing it.
Yeah, it was just oh, there's this little button I can press to delete me, Clara. You should do it.
Why is
and then she did, and then nothing happened anyway.
Was he the only one who did not press that button? Why does he still have emotions? Why is it that this emotional inhibitor, which is designed to make Cybermen placid and purely Cybermen logical, how come that can be overruled by emotion? That's the one thing it's supposed to be used against.
Remember that other episode back in the day with the 11th Doctor? The way to defeat the Cybermen is the power of love.
Yeah,
power of love.
It was just as stupid then.
Well, I was thinking that maybe it's something okay, so if you got converted by the Cybermen, in the field, the conversion process would remove the emotions while that happened. Maybe these are not true models. Maybe she sacrificed convenience for something. I don't know. Maybe these the Ikea version of the Cybermen.
Well, all through the new series, an emotional inhibitor has been built into the Cyberman body. The way that the the Doctor defeated the Cybermen when he was David Tennant was by switching off the emotional inhibitors, which meant the Cybermen went insane and killed themselves.
That doesn't seem like a really good weakness to have. Like, maybe you should have designed that out.
But it would work better than, this guy randomly, his love is able to overpower the emotional inhibitor. That's insane. That's why I'm saying this small fire is so in love with being a fire that this, massive, if you drop the ocean on it, it won't be put out.
Yeah, it felt really contrived, although I really did like the part with the Brigadier at the end.
It's like paper, rock, scissors. Emotional inhibitor always beats emotion.
Yeah, but he's gone. I don't have to worry about him now. Although, going theory is that Clara's pregnant.
And then he goes into, the afterlife or something and sends someone back. Wait, he sent the boy back from the afterlife in a completely new body.
Yeah, I'm not really sure how that worked. And he's find his parents. So basically, you have a child who is now an illegal alien in the UK, who has been registered as being dead for God only knows how many years. And now Clara's responsible for... Are
they going to send him back into what's pretty much a war zone?
Yeah, are his parents even alive?
We don't know.
I thought, oh, well, maybe that's where the descendant comes from. She raises him as an orphan, but then why would her descendant look like Danny? Although I like that her final act was to lie to the Doctor. I'm like, yes, Clara, the girl who lied.
Pretty much every single episode in this, they have tacked on happy endings, regardless of what real life things would happen as a result of that.
Well, vaguely happy. I was actually pleased that Missy lied to the Doctor, and I was so pissed off that he would find Gallifrey so quickly because I want it to be a big, several series long thing. This is his epic quest, and I want it to mean every single bit of it. So I was really happy about that, and then it was kind of interesting because then the last thing that he did was lie to Clara. Oh yeah, I totally found Gallifrey. It's gonna be great. Just saying, Gallifrey.
I don't know, did the Cyberbrig actually blow himself up, or is he just now being a superhero?
No, he went off to be fucking awesome is what happened. 'Cause he's a brigadier, bitch. He just flew off into the sky.
So I'm thinking that in about 20 years, 10 or 20 years, the Cyberbrig will come back and they will allow him to upgrade into an organic-looking body, and it'll be a new actor playing him.
The Cyberbrig.
Like what happened after Roger Delgado died. They rested the Master for about 5 years, but then when he came back, and it was fine. Because I realize, the Master's got regeneration possibilities built into the character.
Yeah.
But Cyberbrig, now being a cyborg and using crazy science fiction technology, they have a way around his death as well.
There better be some comic series with the adventures of the Cyber Brigadier, I'm just saying. But, I mean, it wasn't terrible. I mean, we got rid of Danny. I'm excited to see who the new companion's going to be.
My idea, if I was in charge of the second half of this story, do you know what I would have done?
I can't even imagine.
Would have had the Doctor somehow enter the quote-unquote Matrix Nether Sphere thing and use a terminal in there to look at the names of all the people who are becoming Cybermen as they're becoming them, and isolate every single name that he recognizes of people he knew well. So every single ex-companion or main character who's dead at this point will have been cyberized, and then he switches their emotional inhibitors off and sends them a message just for them. And basically uses a group of essentially Cybermen sleeper agents in order to win.
That would have been a really great homage, too, to all past companions.
Yeah. See, I'm a genius.
I guess.
Because, who's dead at that point? Liz Shaw's dead at that point.
I know, they shouldn't.
Sarah Jane might be, depending on the character. They haven't confirmed it. Who else is dead? Jamie, Ben.
Adric.
He
yes. He didn't die on Earth, though.
No,
well,
he
still could. Oh, he did?
Yes.
Or prehistoric Earth, that's right.
Yeah. There's a handful of ones who are dead.
I don't think they should do it for Sarah Jane because it's very sad.
Well, yeah, wouldn't do Sarah Jane, but if Missy has been grabbing people from the future as well, and just putting them into new bodies somehow, I still don't think it makes any sense to grab people from the Doctor's future and stuff, just to put them into a body that's not their own. Why not just use the body that goes with the body? It's silly.
That would have been such an awesome call-out to all the companions that are quote-unquote canon dead.
Yeah, Jago and Lightfoot. There's a hell of a lot of characters that could be there, ones from older stories, and it's just maybe 20 or 30 of them, and they all use the Cybermen voice.
Look at old friends, I need your help one more time. Oh, everybody would have cried. The tears, the feels. Tumblr would have imploded.
Yeah, and Clara would be like, who are all these people? And he's like, I have had a lot of...
Bitch, I'm just saying,
I have had a lot...
my first.
I have had a lot of friends who have died on Earth over the years. And gets them, and then that's what they use to win.
Yeah. You should be in charge of Doctor Who. I mean, I'm just saying. And I'm just saying that because you're my wife.
I came up with this idea for a Cybermen story set involving Jamie as well.
Don't say it out loud, though, because then you can write it later.
Maybe.
So we'll steal your idea.
But at the end of that one, it would be like, because it would be written with Jamie getting killed there heroically. You know, getting killed and killing the Cybermen at the same time.
Oh, I like Jamie.
And then the Doctor deliberately takes his body away from Earth and buries him like in the Eye of Orion because he knows that he doesn't want Jamie to be reborn as a Cyberman later on because he knows that could happen.
Sad.
You see, previous Doctors didn't know what was going to happen to people who died in the past, but this one does. So he witnesses Jamie's death, so he can make it so Jamie never becomes Cyberman.
Okay, I'm just saying. So, before we move on, final thoughts? And we're not going to count the stinger because the stinger is utter bullshit and I refuse to believe it exists.
I was shaking with anger as that happened.
She was, and I was like, stop it, now you're overreacting. Because we were trying to eat Indian food, and I was afraid you're going to get curry on the carpet.
I wasn't joking, that was my actual reaction.
No, she really was, and I was like, you need to stop because you're overreacting.
I was getting angry.
And I thought my brother-in-law was going to thump you or something.
But overall, barely a better finale than, say, Last of the Time Lords or something else like that.
Was it better than End of Time?
Yes. It's just yet more of Moffat using the same fucking tricks in a different order.
Don't care. There's the master.
And then they have the bit where they...
It was me, Missy the whole time.
They have Kate Stewart getting thrown off the plane and then, miraculously not getting killed because her dad knew where she was somehow and managed to go off and save her without, killing her in the impact of grabbing her.
He's the brigadier, bitch. You're a bitch, honey.
And then somehow they landed on this London-based graveyard. It just happens to have landed there. And why did Danny bring Clara there?
I don't know.
Moffat, for a writer who is so convinced that he's brilliant and so clever, he leaves these really obvious issues.
I don't know what to tell you.
If they'd added another part to it, I think it would have been better. Possibly they could have explained something, or at least attempted to.
Well, I liked her pretending to be the Doctor. She's like, of course I'm the Doctor. No, you're not. Yes. Shut up, I totally am. The girl who lied.
Cyberman.
I have a theory that her cameo in the Christmas episode will be her pregnant. I'm calling it now. If you want to lay odds, write the show.
The Christmas special's only up in like a month.
I know, it's already mid-November. But anyway, now it's time for that part of the show that we couldn't get rid of, even though we desperately tried. It's Giovanni's trivia question. And Giovanni, are you with us tonight?
Yeah, boss, sure I am. So I am so happy because we had someone that got the trivia question right, and it wasn't Dirk or Creature. I know. So congratulations, Kaylin Evergreen. That's Kaylin Evergreen on Twitter. You are my favorite mammal this week. You knew that the word unfriend is not new to the English language. It first appeared in 1275 as a noun and in 1659 as a verb in the written English language. So, good job for you. Don't unfriend me over that. But I got a little bit of a creepy question for you this time. It's a two-parter, too. So, I don't know if y'all remember the Max Headroom broadcasting incident. That might have been before some of your times, but you probably heard about it anyway. Somebody using a pirate signal broke into broadcast television, filming himself as Max Headroom. Now, this happened twice in the same night, and it interrupted two shows. What were the two shows that were interrupted during the Max Headroom broadcasting incident? So, no Google now, no cheating. If you know the answer, tweet at the Omega Geek. That is at the Omega Geek. Once this goes up on Blip, and you're going to be my favorite mammal for next week. But I got to hightail it out of here. It's a bit late for lapses, See y'all later, my adoring radio public.
So I remember that. I was alive for that. That when I was a kid. You're younger than me, though.
Yeah. I was still alive, though.
You were a baby. A little lumpkin. Crawling around. Singing the Doctor Who song. I can just imagine you, running around like you just learned to rock. You're like, I am Doctor Who.
I either still do or I used to own a copy of a rule book for a Doctor Who RPG, classic Doctor Who RPG.
I've seen pictures online, so I know it does exist out there.
Yeah, I think I still do have over there. I might bring it for you to look at.
Ooh, you should hold on to that. It might be worth some money someday.
It's not in the best condition, but it's the sort of thing, that because you love RPGs, you might be able to run a game on it.
If I was gonna run any kind of space-based game, what I would do is I would run it in the D20 system, and base a lot of the stuff off the Star Wars D20 system.
Okay. Well, in this RPG, you don't so much create new characters. You choose to be a doctor and or a couple of companions going on an adventure.
I don't like that so much.
I think it makes sense for it being Doctor Who.
Yeah, I guess, but then, everyone's going to fight over who gets to be the Doctor.
Depends on which Doctor you decide to do, because I don't want to be 5.
True.
I want to be Tegan so I can do a terrible Australian accent and call Peter Davison a wimp.
Australia!
Struth, mate!
But anyway, so that has been episode 78. That's been us for this week. I have been the Omega Geek, and honey, who would you have want to have been this week? Say a good one. Who's Rufus?
George Carlin's character from Bill and Ted.
Okay.